Alright, so I've been wanting to make this video for a long time. I just didn't know what exactly I was gonna do or when or whatever, but I just feel like this is the best time. I'm gonna be 100% honest and transparent. I had hesitation. I had reservations about making this video because I said, Ariel, you know, if you make this video, my parents don't watch my videos, but I was like, your parents could watch this video. You know, your siblings are gonna watch this video, your family, like everyone's gonna know. And I'm like, that's the point. Like everyone needs to know, because as Christians, a lot of the times we live this life of secrecy, and then everyone, non-believers, walk around us and they think that we're perfect, and it's because we're portraying this perfect lifestyle, which in a sense isn't, you know, bad, but they need to know that we have struggles, because I feel like non-believers believe that, you know, like everything's just great, everything's perfect, it's so easy, we love Jesus, Jesus loves us, he just everything. Like that's not how it is. We have struggles, we have storms, we have tribulations, we have all those things, and I just want to speak about it because this is for someone who might be going through something similar that I've gone through, yet they just didn't know, or they felt guilty, they felt bad, they felt shame about it, and they just thought that they were alone, and they're like, I'm a Christian, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way or doing this or whatever. That's why I had to tell my story. I had to tell my story, for one, to give God the recognition, to show like, hello, like he brought me out of this, and number two, to help somebody, you know, just to show like, we are not perfect. No one is perfect. So I'm done with the blabbing. Here we go. All right. Excuse me. So all my life, I'm 23 years old. All my life, I grew up as a church girl. Not really a church girl. I'm not going to say that because I grew up in church. So I never had a Sunday where I like chilled. Like, that's not a thing. From as far as I can remember, I got up every Sunday. I went to church with my parents, and me and my brother and my sister had to go. We all had to. That wasn't a question about it. My mom was like, what you mean? You live here? This is my house? You what? Yes, you're going. So yeah, I went to church all my life and all those things. And I started off in children's church. And children's church for me, the great thing is that me and my brother are 4 years apart, so we were like best friends all our freaking lives. So he never felt 4 years apart to me. He always felt like he's my age. So I had him like throughout my whole childhood. So if I ain't have him, I would have been like stuck. But so I had my brother, and we went to children's church together. And sometimes we were separated because of the age difference, but as we got a little bit older, we went to children's church together. He had to sit on the other side though for the younger kids. And I don't know. I didn't really like church like that. It was really boring to me. Especially when I went to the big church, like, you know, the real church. It was really boring. And it was really boring. And I just wasn't interested. I didn't want to be there. I was mad because like all my other friends and things, well, like people from school and stuff would like stay home on Sundays. I'm like, oh my God, I have to get up. Oh my God. So yeah, that was the thing. But yeah, I didn't really like it. And then as I got older, like preteen type stuff, it got so awkward for me because I went to children's church still, but it was like, oh, like this is lame. Like this is mad lame to me. Like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And my cousin would go with me, and it would just be so awkward. Like during praise and worship, we just stand there, you know, kiki with our friends and all this stuff. And I remember specifically, I was so obsessed with this one girl. She was really pretty to me, and I would just be like so jealous of her. So like every Sunday she came and I would just like look at her and I'm like, oh, she's so rich and all this stuff. This is where my focus was as a preteen. Like I'm trying to tell you, I was not in the service at all. I was just like, no, I'm not trying to be here. Like I'm focused on her. Like look at her, she is bad. Like yes, like I don't like her, but yes, like that's how I was. And like the children's choir would get up there and sing. This is all happening at children's church now, y'all. So the children's choir would get up there and sing. And I was like, they're so whack. Like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I understand, like, yes, this is good, but y'all are lame. Like, I cannot believe they're actually friends. Like, y'all hang out and do church stuff. Like, no. I'm like, look, at 11 o'clock, they called my name and told me my parents are here. I'm out the door. Like, I am not trying to stay around, none of that. Like, that was whack. So I hated all that stuff. Like, children's church wanted it was whack to me. It was boring. I just won't happen no. I didn't like it. I especially didn't like it because we would play like these games and like quizzes and things like that. And it was like school, and they would be like, raise your hand if you know it, and if you don't, they just randomly call on you. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what's happening? All right, I feel like I'm rambling. So one Sunday, they did the altar call. They do the altar call at children's church, but I'm a child. I don't know what that is. So they do the altar call, and my brother goes up. And I'm like, is he stupid? Why is he going up there? Like, oh my, I was so irritated, y'all. I was so irritated because I'm like, he doesn't even know what he's doing. He doesn't know why he's going up there, which he didn't, but I was irritated about it. So later that night, I told my parents, I was like, so he went up to the altar call today, like, what the heck? And my parents were just like, no, like, that's a great thing that he went up there. Like, he's saved now. Like, he didn't even know what he was doing, but he's saved. And you just, like, no, don't bash him about that. Basically, like, this is a great thing, Ariel. Praise him. Don't bash him. I was like, whatever. Parents are not on my side. Whatever. So as I got older, I became a teenager, and teen years were crazy. Oh my gosh, teen years. So church just wasn't important to me. God wasn't important to me. I knew that I grew up in a Christian household. I knew that my parents didn't play about like God and stuff. I knew I went to church every Sunday, so I knew I was a good girl, but I had no intentions of like following any rules or anything like that. So I was like, whatever. So I went to school, and I feel like I feel like in 7th grade, I was a little fast. I do. Like, I never did anything crazy or anything, but I was just crazy about boys and all this stuff. And I would, like, be very, very flirty with boys. And I would tease them and things like that. Like, nothing crazy, y'all. I don't want y'all to think nothing crazy. Like, I'm just in 7th grade. That's 13 years old. But I was just like, ooh, I'm wearing this little khaki skirt today because we had to wear uniforms. So I would just do things like that. And then I would, like, always get guys because it's like, I'm a good girl, so you can't have me. And to me, it was just so enticing to, like, mess with the guys and lure them in just to tell them, like, no, you can't have me because I'm a good girl. So that was me in middle school. And then in 8th grade, I moved. So I was not like that at all because I went to a whole nother school, and I was a new girl, and it was like the new girl in the movies, like, just bullying, jealousy, all that dumb stuff. So that was that. Then high school happened. This is really where the meat happens. Like, all the childhood stuff is not important. This is where the meat happens. So high school was crazy. So in high school, my freshman year, there were so many guys who liked me and just thought I was pretty and all this stuff. And I'm just like, great. And nothing. I mean, so in 9th grade, I had this one boyfriend. He was 17 years old. I was 14. And my mom accidentally found out about him, and I was like, it ain't that deep. Like, she's like, I'm gonna beat him. I'm like, it ain't that deep. Like, it's not even serious. All this stuff. And this was around the time where me and my best friend, we would hang out a lot. Like, we were hanging out all the time, just like going out everywhere, like to the mall, to the movies, all types of things like that. And at one point in time, her church was like more lit than mine. So like they had like this teen night thing. I thought it was so whack. I still had that same mindset I did when I was a child. I just thought it was so lame. Like, like, we're going to church on a Friday night, and they call it like Wild and Out night. I was like, yay, you decorated it, and you made it look all cute. You gave it a nice fancy title, but it's still lame. And I just really didn't want to go because I was like, this is gonna be an event with full of like, this is gonna be an event full of church people. I cannot stand church people. Like, oh my gosh, they're so lame. I just thought church people were the lamest people ever. Like, I just was like, I don't want to have any dealings with them. Like, y'all are so lame. Like, I was like, I don't have anything against them. Like, y'all are really great people, but y'all are lame to me. So I didn't want to go. But I went. I went a couple of times, and I remember I went one time with her, and they were doing an altar call too. And you know, if you ever been to church, you know when they call the altar call normal, and then they say, I feel like there's someone else out there, and then they say, I feel like God is like calling someone specific. I feel like if he's dealing with your heart right now. And I was like, oh, bruh, like, because I was like, that's me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to go. Like, let me just stay back here. Like, So I was just like, oh my God. And then my friend went, so I was like, let me just go. So I went, and it was altar call and all that fun stuff. But I just went, and I was just like, I felt kind of weird. I felt embarrassed. I did not want to get up and go to the front of the church. I don't want to be seen. It was just a lot. It was a lot going on, and those church events were real whack to me. Going to church with my best friend on those nights, like, that was really whack. But we went. It was a good thing, but it was really whack to me, and I was just like not into it at all. And then after that happened, I was a normal teen, so I wasn't like outrageous or anything. I didn't do any like drinking or anything crazy like that. No sneaking out, no parties, none of that. None of that stuff honestly ever interested me. So I just like did like dumb. I did like little kitty teenage stuff. Like I go to the mall and like get guys numbers and like never text him, stuff like that. So like that's how like my teenage life went. I was still pretty much at T's. That boyfriend I had in 9th grade, it was not even like a legit relationship. Like he cheated on me with like this girl who swore out that she had been with him the whole time, which she had, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Like that was that. Like there were so many other guys who wanted me. And a lot of great men, like a lot of good church boys would want me. And I'm just like, you're so lame. Like, no, I would turn them down in a heartbeat because they knew I was a good girl. They knew. And I was just like, no, like you are mad lame. Like, I don't want to have any dealings with you. I don't like lame people. Like, you're nice, you're sweet. But I'm sorry, you're lame, you know? So I was just like, you know. And I'm still going to church every Sunday with my parents and whatnot. And now I'm a teenager, so I'm in the big church. I just think it's so whack. I go there, I sit, and I see peers that are like the same age as me, but those are like the church people. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all doing too much. Well, not really. I was never one of those people that really said they're doing too much. So I'm just like, it's not that deep. And I would just like, during praise and worship, I would just like stand there. I refuse to clap my hands. I refuse to raise my hands, my arms, all that. Because I'm just like, that's embarrassing, number one. Number two, I'm too cool for school. I'm not about to sit up here and raise my arms. I'm not about to sit up here and clap, none of that, because your boy back there looking at me, he gonna think, I don't know, he gonna think something of me if he see me, because we go to the same school, and I don't know, I'm not about to sit up, he gonna think I'm a church girl. I'm definitely not a church girl. Like, okay, I am a Christian, but I'm definitely not a church girl, so I'm not gonna clap my hands. I'm not gonna do any of that. So that's how church was for me. I didn't really ever understand anything because it was just like kind of too deep. But I mean, I understood the basics. So I was like, this is not even for me. Like, I'm like a teenager. This is for adults. So I kind of just sat there. It was good, you know, listened the best way I could, but I didn't really understand. I didn't retain any information. So I'm still in high school, and I moved again my sophomore year. My sophomore year, I went to the high school that I went to the high school with the same people I went to middle school with. When I moved to 8th grade and went to the high school where I got bullied and all that stuff, yeah, all that bad stuff happened, but those were new people. I had never met them before. They were completely different. And like, I went to a ratchet middle school with all like the hood people. So when I went to high school, when I moved again and went to that high school with all those same hood people, it was like a different environment for me because And I had in eighth grade I had moved and I had went into my freshman year with all these same new people I had met in eighth grade. So to go from all these new people to these hood people, it was just so overwhelming to me. I didn't feel like I had a place. It was just so whack. Like, not whack. Why do I keep saying that? It was just like culture shock. I was just like, because I hadn't been around those people in so long, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. Like, oh, I just didn't like it. And I remember there was this guy. All right, I'm gonna say names because it ain't that deep. So I had art class with this guy, and he was he's a devout Christian. And now I'm in 10th grade, so I'm a little bit more wise. I'm not as ignorant as I was to like church stuff. Like, I know it's good. People who go to church, I mean, not people who go to church, church boys and girls, they are really good, and like kudos to you. But that's just not me. That was my mindset. So there was this guy in my art class. He was like a devout Christian, and it was just really shocking to see people my age be devout Christians, because I'm like, wow. I feel like they're more mature. So this one guy, he would just like talk to me all this stuff, and like he would talk to me about just how devout of a Christian he is and all this stuff. And I was just like, oh yeah, like that's great and all that stuff. And I was just like, okay. And 10th grade was just so hard. I had a very hard time transitioning over. I always date the wrong men. I dated the most popular boys, but that's like bull eyes to girls. So that's why I got bullied in 8th grade, because I dated like the head football player. Like, you don't do that if you just come into a school. So I did that again in 10th grade. I dated all the popular boys, and girls were not having it. Like, they wouldn't like antagonize me and things like that, but I just felt like a target. Like, I don't know, it was just so stressful. Like, 10th grade was really stressful, and I ended up going into a depression because it was just much for me. And I literally remember I was on the bus one morning, and I was on the way to school, and I was just like about to scream on the bus because I just didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't want to go home. I just don't want to go home because like nothing good happens there, and I don't want to go to school because I don't fit in there. Like, I don't have any place of belonging, and I was just like freaking out. So I had a depression in 10th grade, and that was deep. That was my darkest moment. I just didn't feel like I had any place to be on this earth. I just did not know where to go. I didn't want to go home because like my family, we're not like, well, this is back in the day. We don't talk about problems. We don't do all that. We're not close-knit, family oriented. We don't do all that. You go in and you get told what to do, and that's it. So it wasn't like love and affection and all that stuff that wasn't there. So I'm like, I don't want to go home because like no one even asked me like how I'm feeling or anything like that. And it just bothered me. And then I go to school and I don't have anywhere to fit. Like, it was just so bad for me. But I ended up writing. That's when I really discovered, Ariel, you like writing, you love writing. Oh crap, Ariel, you're a writer. That's when that happened. And also that guy in art class who was a Christian, he used to always talk to me. And I'm a Christian. I'm just like way down there on the list, but he at the top. But he inspired me. So yo, I used to be a sailor. Like, sailor. And I remember my mom told me one time, she was like, and I don't know, she was like, I don't know why you be cussing, Ariel. You too pretty to be cussing. I'm just like, don't do that. Like, don't. Because I was just like, whatever. Like, I'm going to do what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I'm going to cuss you out. Like, that's how it was. I was just like, whatever. I was a cussing sailor. I love to cuss. I use cuss words to, like, cuss guys out. I was just like eating guys with cuss words. And then in 10th grade, I met that guy in my art class, and he inspired me. So in 10th grade, I said that I'm not gonna cuss anymore. I just like told. I think I told myself, I was like, I'm not gonna cuss anymore. I'm gonna give that up for the Lord, because He really inspired me, and that was my most proudest moment, because I'm like, wow, I'm only in 10th grade, and I'm gonna give this up for the Lord. I was like, Ariel, you are a Christian at heart. I don't know why you out here trying to act like these ratchet girls. You are not ratchet. Okay, you need to come back to God and come back to your daddy, because you just all over the place. So in 10th grade, I gave up cussing, and I don't know what to say, because I feel like a lot of people will get there. But in 10th grade, I gave up cussing. So that was like part one, like step number one. And I stopped cussing, and I was just like, I felt kind of liberated. I was like, okay, Ariel, you're getting back to your ways. And then in 11th grade, I spent my 11th grade year in high school finding myself. Don't know why I spent 11th grade doing that, but I did, and I was like soul searching. That's when I really figured out who I was and all these things, and I really became more reserved back to how I was when I was like a child. I became more to myself. I don't cuss no more, and I'm just really trying to get back to the natural Ariel. And now I'm around even more Christian people, more Christian peers at school. So they're like inspiring me and things like that. And I'm like, yo, Ariel, you need to try to be like them. Yeah, like I didn't have any boyfriend like really during high school. Mine is that freshman year boyfriend. I didn't have any boyfriends, so I wasn't distracted by boys. I was really quiet, really timid. In 11th grade year, I was getting older. I started soul searching. I was trying to find myself. I wasn't cussing, and I was really getting back to God. And I remember I was like, wow, like I've never felt this happy. And I was really starting to feel the joy that just like praising God and just being with God and being in His presence could provide me. I was like, wow. So that happened, but it was only for like a short period of time. It was only for like a couple of months. And then I didn't like revert back to my old ways, but I just wasn't as go hard for Christ as I was during that period of time. And then my senior year in high school, I had a big falling out with both of my best friends. I had a male best friend and a girl best friend. I had a big falling out with them because they dated, and that pissed me off. So yeah. And then I ended up dating my male best friend. So yeah. So this is the end of senior year now, and I'm going into college. So I'm dating my best friend essentially. And this is really when this is when like things started getting crazy. So I'm a freshman in college, and I know my worth. I know my value ish. Like, I know the basics. Like, I'm a Christian girl. I'm not out here saying, hey, I'm a Christian girl. But I definitely am not giving anything up to anybody or anything like that. Like, I'm not smoking, drinking. And then here's something really crazy, y'all. So, in high school, like junior and senior year, people, especially senior year in high school, people would be so shocked to know that I was a virgin, and they're like, how are you still a virgin? Like, you don't want to have sex? And I'm just like, I'm not thinking about sex, like, to be honest. And they were just so shocked. I'm like, it's just not a thought. Like, I never think about hockey ever. And that's how it was to me. Like, y'all think about sex all the time, and I don't. Like, I don't want to have sex because it's not a thought to me. I don't think about it like ever. So that just wasn't a thing for me. So I was just like, whatever. So anyways, back to freshman year of college. I went in there like that, and I started dating my best friend. And then yeah, so I know him, he knows me. We've been knowing each other very well. Like, at this point, we've been best friends for 5 years, and now we're dating. So we're dating and all this fun stuff. And this is my first real relationship. This is my only relationship at this point. And it was long distance. It was so hard, and it was just really challenging and all these things. But I was still Ariel. I was still, you know, I know who I am and all this stuff. And then he ended up moving down here, so long distance was over and all that fun stuff. And then I was with a guy. Like, I've never been like with a guy exclusively like this, so I was like with him. And things were going good. Things, it was just like it was a taste of a real life relationship. So, all right, this is the part where I'm gonna be really transparent, really honest with y'all, because I really need to. I'm doing too much right now. I'm explaining myself, so let me just speak. All right. So I'm with this guy, and not this guy, okay? I'm with my ex boyfriend, right? I'm with him, and we're starting our relationship. And at the beginning, it was hard because it was long distance and things like that. But things were working itself out. And then when he moved down here, it was even better for me, and that was just great. And then the wildest thing happened. He moved in with me and my parents, which was just insane. That was just mind blowing. Like, what? He moved in. He moved in with me and my parents. So that was interesting. I was still in school, but he was there like full time. So I would like come home every weekend to be with him. I just didn't want to have any dealings with like anybody like at school. I just wanted to be with him and all this stuff. Long story short, I ended up losing my virginity to him, and it's not something that I regret. Like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people regret it. It's whatever. But, I mean, because it was my decision at the end of the day. And it's not like I was, like, young. Like, I was, like, in college, which means I'm well aware. I make my own decisions and things of that nature. So, yeah, I made the decision to have sex. So, I wanted to have sex with him, and I did. And that was the start of like everything, because I now know, like, I have all this wisdom now. But so he lived with me, and I would come home for the weekends, and we're dating and all this fun stuff, and it was just really great and all this stuff. And he is my best friend, so it's not like he's a complete stranger. Like we've known each other for some time. But like, oh my gosh, that relationship was just insane. It was mind blowing. There were so many things. That relationship took a lot out of me, and I didn't even realize it until like afterwards, because we were young. And it's like, I'm still young now, y'all. I'm only 23. But we were younger, and we did not know anything. And we just like jumped into a relationship. Not jumped into, but we were in a relationship. Then he moved in with me. So that was just like, that was a lot already, because I'm in school and my boyfriend kind of part-time lives with me. And like, we were just doing so many adult things at such a young age. This is 1920, y'all. And like, he's coming home from work, and like, imagine the summer. So summer, I'm out of school, which means I'm at home. So he comes home from work, and he's like stressed out and tired. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I did the laundry, and he just didn't notice it. And it's just like stuff like that was happening. And it's like, we're young, that's how our relationship was. That's how it started to become, and things like that. And I was just like starting. I remember like at the middle of our relationship, I realized I was losing myself, and I was trying so hard to get back to God. I was just like, hey, I just wanna I feel like we need to just like not take a break, but I feel like these are like some values and morals I want to put back into play in our relationship, and I hope that you can like follow through with them. And he's a Christian as well, but he's like a Christian like me, so it's like, well, like at least how I was as a teenager. Like, I'm a Christian, I am saved, but I don't by any means necessarily live the Christian lifestyle. So that's how it was. Meanwhile, here I am at 19, 20, 21, and I am trying to re-implement a Christian lifestyle back into my life, but it's just not happening. It's just not working, because I'm dealing with an individual who has no intentions, no, passion of doing such a thing. And I'm trying to like get back close to God, and it's just not happening. And I'm getting frustrated, and it's worrying on my relationship and all these things. And we lived together, and it was just so much. And we were doing so many adult like things, just like, and y'all, when I say adult like things, I'm talking about things that adults have to do. Like, 'cause when you live together, it's a whole different situation. You're in the same presence as someone like all the time. You have to you see how people live. You see, you nitpick at little things, just all these things, and it's worrying, and like you even have finances and things like that, and it was just so much, and it took a lot. I feel like it took a lot out of the both of us. I'm speaking for him at this point, but I feel like it took a lot out of the both of us, just because we were so young, and we were younger, and we were doing adult like things, and at that age we shouldn't have been doing that. And I was trying to get back to God. I was trying to just revert back to a Christian lifestyle. I didn't want to do the things that I was doing anymore. I just felt like I was just like out here not caring. Like, I'm just like, hoo, I'm with this guy, and I love him, he loves me, and we're gonna do what we want. That's how it was. And we were like even talking about marriage and all this stuff, and we were so young. And it's just like, okay, Ariel, you're trying to be with him, and you're trying to be with God. You know, like, you got to pick one. You cannot do both. And I didn't realize that. So I kept it was constant. It was a constant battle of like me going in waves with God, because I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gung ho for God this week. I'm gung ho for God this month. But let me dip over here with my mans, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to have our little fun. We're going to do our little thing. And then you get back in that wave. And then I don't want to have any dealings with God, because I feel so guilty at this point. It's like, wow, I'm supposed to be a Christian. I'm out here doing all this stuff with him. And it's like, God's ashamed of me. I don't even want to. I'm sorry, God. I can't do that. So I was just like, not with it, because I'm like, God is ashamed of me. He don't want to have no dealings with me. I keep lying to him. I keep coming to him, asking him, hey, God, can you help me? And then I do it. And it's just like, oh, never mind. So it's just like, I couldn't win. So that relationship was like up and down relationship with God as well. So when my relationship ended, it was really, really hard. It was really difficult. I was with this man for 4 years, and he was my best friend, like I said. And it was just so hard to like just to get through. But I found myself in that moment coming to God a lot, because I'm like, I don't know, I can't go to anyone. Like, who do I have to go to, and I was really trying to go to all these sources, and I'm just like, yo, like, no, I can't do that. Like, I have to go to God. Like, that's the only person I can really go to. So I spent a lot of time with God, and I had a lot of disappointments and a lot of frustrations with God, because I was just like, yo, God, you're not helping me with this relationship. You're not helping me get through this breakup. This is just too tough. And then the breakup was so on and off. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it was so crazy. It was just like never ending, and I really honestly never thought it would actually ever end until it did. And so that was a task in itself. And then this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Soul ties. That's a real freaking thing. I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize it though until after I had came out of that storm though. I had this soul tie to my ex-boyfriend that I didn't even know. I can't recall any of the emotions or whatever I took on from him, but just trying to detach myself from him was so hard. It was so hard. And I was just like, yo, son, like, why is this hard? This cannot be real life. I felt like death. I felt like I am dying. Like, this is equivalent to someone's death. It has to be. And it was just simply a soul tie. But I did not know that. And that's why it was so hard. That's why it was so difficult for me to get over that breakup. That's why I kept going back in and out with him. Because I'm like, And there were a lot. I want to speak of this because this video is for somebody, not even for me. I settled for so much in my relationship. Like, I was like, I'm not even trying to bash my ex. I'm not. I just have to be honest. But there were so many things I settled for. I always said, he's going to change. He's just going to change. I've been praying for him. He's going to change. And he needs me. He needs me to help him change, which is why I have to stay here. Because I believe that he will change, and he needs me to help him change. I'm going to help him change, and God's going to deal with him. He's going to become a great, mighty man of God. Don't believe that. Do not believe that. You have to understand and realize and know that people will change when God deals with them. But you cannot change anyone. No one can change anybody. And I was trying so hard to change my ex-boyfriend to be this great man that I needed him to be this great man of God, when in actuality I couldn't have done that. That wasn't something that I was capable of doing, but I thought that I could, which is why I stayed with him, and which is why I endured so much and I settled for less. Like just the simple things, y'all. Like just simple stuff. On New Year's, I just wanted to spend time with him, and he went out with his boys. And I was like mad about it for one day, but then I was like, okay, like, no, you deserve more than that. Like, a man deserves, I mean, you deserve all of a man's time and vice versa and things like that. Like, if a man really wants you, he will make time for you. And I know it's cliche to say, but it's a real thing. So you have to understand and realize when you're settling, like, men should treat women like queens and vice versa. Because a lot of the times, people will get up here and they're preaching, they'll be like, yeah, it's like, you are a queen, you deserve to be treated like a queen. Yeah, that's true, but he deserves to be treated like a king as well. So when you're in a really great, wholesome relationship, both of you are treating one another with equality and with respect, and you know how to treat. I just said that, you know how to treat one another and things like that. So you just shouldn't settle, and don't be afraid to escape a relationship, especially if you feel like you're settling, but it's a lot harder when you have a soul tie to someone. So that's that. But at the end of the day, and y'all, I fought so hard for that relationship. I'm trying to tell you, like, when it was ending and when it was like done, I was like, no, God, like, you sure? Like, cause he just texted me and like I was fighting so hard for a relationship that God had ended intentionally in my life because he wanted me, and I didn't even realize that. And I was just like out here trying to be with this man and trying to rekindle things when that's not even what God's intent was. And that's when I had to realize, Ariel, God removed that man out of your life for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like pick up the steps and like, all right, let's get this healing process on. So this is like the end of my breakup and stuff. Like, things are coming together and all this stuff. So I moved. I got a new place in Durham, and I was just like, all right, I'm single and I'm here. This is my year. Like, I am graduating. I'm like ready to be out here, okay? Not out there like that, but like, I'm single, let's go. So I was ready to like mingle with every man. I was so ready, so excited. It's like, I can't wait till I get a new man. Like, a man that's gonna treat me right. Like, a good man. Like, I was just out here like that. Like, oh my God. But at the same time, I still had a sense of awareness. I was so close to God. Well, yeah, I was getting close to God, and I just like wanted more of God because I had God all summer, and He got me through that tough breakup. So here I am, and I still need God. So I was on like every dating app. I was like trying to put out the thirst trappiest Instagram photos ever, but still be, modest because I'm a Christian. And I'm just like talking to all these guys. I'm not gonna have sex with nobody. I am not gonna, do anything like that because I'm back in a relationship with God. But I do want a man. So I'm out here looking for one. And I just like I was talking to so many men, meeting up with so many men, rekindling all relationships with guys from like high school, like all of this random stuff to find a man. And one day I was just like, Ariel, aren't you tired? Because I'm like so tired. I'm tired of entertaining all these men. I'm tired of conversing with all these men. I'm tired of like meeting random men. I'm just tired. Like, can we just take a break? And I was just so fed up. I was like, Ariel, what are you doing? First of all, you just got out of a relationship. Number one, you're trying to replace your ex with your next. You're not going to do that because number one, you're not even ready. Like, you're not ready. And at this point, any man that you find or whatever, it's just a replacement. So be honest with yourself and don't do that. Like, stop, So I had to realize that. And then once I realized that, I was just randomly on YouTube. I'm like on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. I was just randomly on YouTube, and I don't even know. It was God, y'all. I'm trying to tell you because I don't know how it happened. I just randomly saw Michael Todd's Relationship Goals, Part 1. Randomly. It was suggested for me. How Sway? I don't know. But it was. And I was just like, okay. So I watched it. And I watched part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and part 5 and part 6 and part 7 and part 8. And let me tell y'all, when I say that Michael Todd, Pastor Michael Todd from Tulsa, Oklahoma, changed my whole entire life. During that very vital moment in my life, when I had just made the decision, when I had just broken up with my boyfriend because I chose God over him, and I said, I cannot keep up this battle. When I had just spent the whole entire summer with God, having him with me to get through that tough breakup because of that soul tie. When I had just decided I was gonna, my freedom's again, back on the prowl, like I'm out here mingling, single, ready to mingle, wanted to meet every man in America, you know. And then I had decided enough is enough. I'm just trying to find a replacement for my ex, and they cannot fill any voids. So I had decided I was done with men. Well, not men, because I'm not gay. But I had decided that I was done seeking men for the validation or whatever it was I was looking for at that time. And I had found Michael Todd, his relationship goals video. Y'all. That whole entire series was about singleness and about the embracing of singleness and about why singleness is so essential. When I tell y'all that saved my whole entire life, that was the best thing ever. And it came at the most perfect moment. It was literally like I had said yesterday, I am done seeking men. The next day, let's learn all about singleness. And it helped me so much. And when I watched that whole series, I was on fire for God. Let me tell y'all, that one series put me on to so much. I was like, no, let me find a church she goes to on Sunday. I found a church. Okay, y'all, this was way back in August. I still go to that church today. It is February. It's March. And I am a member of that church now. Like, God is a real thing. I am out here trying to tell y'all because I have never in my life felt like this, okay? I do have a testimony. I do have things to say because I really could have been like another way. And although I might not have been out here wilding out, I still wouldn't be anywhere near as close to who I am with God today as I am today. But people think I'm really perfect, guys, and I'm really not. I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. You know, one of my biggest weaknesses right now is gossip. I really try not to gossip because gossiping is not, it's a sin, you know, and I'm really trying to be righteous in all my ways. And gossiping for me is kind of like it hard. Like I've definitely overcome some things, but from time to time I find myself slipping up, which is why I try to surround myself now with like-minded individuals so that I don't have to even encounter such things. But Christians gossip too, y'all. So I'm just, you know, out here trying to do the right thing. And this is what I realize now that I'm like back in a relationship with God. Like, and they always say this in sermons. They always say real true Christians, like, you can try to act as unholy as you like, but it's something about you that screams Jesus, and you can't even hide it. Like, you can't even cuss right, you can't even smoke right, you can't even drink right. Like, you try so hard to fit in with the world, but you're not a part of them. And I realize that because when I think about my like teen life and all that stuff, it was always a part of me that was just like I had my limits. Like I said, I was very lustful, very flirty with guys and whatnot, but I ain't having sex with you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why, Ariel? Those are those morals. Those are those values. And it's like, I still, back in that day, even though I thought church was lame, not church necessarily, but like church people were lame and all this stuff, I was like, there's still a standard that I have for myself. Like, there's only a certain amount, there's only a certain limit I will go to. You know what I'm saying? But it took my relationship to break that out of me. And, you know, it's whatever. But I learned from that, and that's old news. But, yeah, so it's just like I could never run away truly from being a Christian because it was still there. You know what I'm saying? It really was still there. And God's just always there. And he always was there. He always has been there. He always will be there. But I just didn't realize it. But now I do realize it. So, yeah, like, that's all I wanted to say, guys. I just really wanted to tell my story. Not even for me, but for somebody else. So, yeah, because I'm a real woman of Christ out here. And I really do love God, and I really do love the Lord, and I really do praise Him, and I really do actually live a Christian lifestyle to the best of my ability. And when I mess up, I try to make it right the best way I can, and I repent and all that fun stuff. But I am a real life Christian who makes real life mistakes. You know, I'm not perfect, and none of us are, but we just go about things in a certain way, in a certain manner that differs from others. But I'm not perfect. I just told y'all my whole story because I wanted y'all to know that I'm not perfect. And y'all think I am. Like, nah, I'm not. Like, I'm just not perfect. Like, and I want to start naming flaws for y'all, but I can't even think about anything. Like, I see that sounds really arrogant. I'm really not trying to be arrogant. I'm really trying to be humble. But just know I'm not perfect. Like, I'm not, you know? Well, none of us are perfect. We make mistakes, but the aim and the goal is to try to live as as similar to Jesus as you can. And that's all I'm trying to do out here. And I'm trying to enlighten each and every head that I can. So yeah, let's post a whole video on YouTube and reach more than one soul at a time. So yeah. But that's all that I really wanted to say, guys. I really, really, really hope that I did the right thing. I feel like I've really tried to follow I really tried to follow God's voice in making this video, because right after my breakup, I wanted to make a video to help women. And then I was like, you're not ready. And then like mid part of my breakup, I was like, all right, God, I want to make a video to help women now. Tell me what to say. And nothing happened. And I'm like, you're not ready. And then like once I was like in the clearing of my breakup, I was like, all right, God, I got it. Let me inform the people. Let me tell them how to get through this thing, you know? And he was like, you are not ready. And I'm like, what, Houseway? Like, what you mean? He was like, I'm not ready. And I just felt like I was so ready, but I wasn't. And now it's just like the perfect time. And I feel like I just finally 1 year later, and I'm finally ready to tell my story on God's command, because He finally gave me the okay to go ahead and tell your story, Ariel. And I never had any intentions of doing this. Like, I want to make a video to help women through a breakup, help Christian women through a breakup, but those were not in God. That was not God's plan. So I'm telling my story. So maybe He feels like that'll be more beneficial. So I really hope that this helps someone who might feel like, I'm trying so hard in this walk with Christ and I just keep messing up. Like, it is okay. It is okay. Like, God still loves you. You just have to keep trying. Just don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're not perfect. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. That was the whole point of me telling y'all that I was a Christian from like 15 years old to now, and I made mistakes. So just know that you can make mistakes and you can come right back. You will find your way back if you truly want to. So I'm rambling. I keep saying the same stuff over and over, which means it's time for me to go. So I will talk to y'all later.